2. So we got one more in here. That now makes 3 clear fields for the mulcher to run. So that's a good thing. I'm thinking all the fields up here that had cotton in last year, so all the ones we're collecting cotton from right now, we will plant those with corn. Basically, because corn is just corn. All we have to do is ship that back to our farm. We can drop some in that thing there. But the soybeans will create straw, and I don't really want straw in this corner of the map. So we'll collect it and take it down. Yeah, it'll be closer down here. So all of the fields that are white here, these 2 and that one, and that's it. Those will all be soybean fields, and then they'll create stuff that we need. You're there, you're there, you're there. You're still mulching. So I've now got 2 fields I can mulch once this one's done. So we're ahead of the game there. The other thing I do want to do is, okay, the 6M, no, 6R, the Puma, no. So where's the 6M? I'm just tabbing through tractor. There's the 6M. So this thing has 4 hours in it, almost 5. And we will get the mulcher stuck on the back. I think we're going to take that here. And again, this is why I have 2 of these tools, because we can take that and customize it into a roller. And customize, and it doesn't cost me anything because we have all the rollers and all the other things. Right, let's jump back into that tractor, hitch that back up, and we're going to need to take this down to the main farm. So yeah, little tiny tractor. Got a glass roof, so if you do front loader, you can see what you're doing. But this was patched in, not the last Giants patch, the one before it got us a new, gave us this 6M. Pretty much just after I bought the FS2500. And since this is mostly John Deere case, and New Holland is part of the case label, I figured having the Fent on this farm, yeah, we'll junk that. Stick with the case and the John Deere's for now. Plus we're coming up to switching farms sometime over the summer months. So I will be excuse me. I will be selecting European style tractors for a European style farm when we get round to it. So what else am I doing now? Why do I only have 2 tractors in motion? One of those isn't doing anything. Right. Kind of need a gravel path through here. Preferably one that joins up to the back here. Take this through to the cotton field. This is not, we're not going to roll the cotton field yet. Where is There's the cotton field we're doing. Cavalier Roy. Yeah, we enjoy doing that. Actually, we've made up for it with tornadoes and all sorts of fun and games. So there was no stream last week because our local ISP lost power. Oh, didn't want to do that. Maybe I can do that. Yes. So I was without internet for nearly 17 hours last weekend. So surprisingly, well, no stream. Yeah, indeed. Well, yeah. That was one of the funny conversation I had with my flight instructor when I was in Camarillo in what's it called? That place, California. We were, I just transferred over there from England, and telling him about what I'd done so far in the world of learning to fly. And I was explaining to him how, I would book a lesson every Saturday in England, and you would get 2 or 3 lessons per month. The other one would be rained off. So they'd cancel it because there's rain and you can't fly in rain because you don't know what you're doing, which is fair enough. And so he then said, and he came from Hawaii, so he then said, oh yeah, I had the same problem when I was learning to fly. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. I watched Magnum PI back in the 80s, and sunshine and sipping whatever on the beach and all the rest of it. What do you mean? And he said, it's an island. It rains pretty much every day, just like England. Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. So it's going to rain somewhere. And if temperatures get hot, it's going to be monsoon type temperatures and rainstorms rather than the cool, refreshing rainstorms that England currently gets. That was the thing that worried me. I really didn't like heat in England. 80 degrees and I'm out. I want to be somewhere else. And I got a job with a California company, the office based in England. So I didn't have to go to California for the work, but I did. I worked for them for a month in Bishop Stortford in East Anglia, and then they sent me off to California for training. So, and I was dreading it. So, it's going to be so hot. Middle of summer. It's like, it's going to be so hot. It's going to be completely unbearable. And I got there, and of course, Los Angeles is pretty much a desert. So it's just hot and dry. It has nothing to do with, there's no moisture or anything. So it's not, you're hot, you're sweating, your sweat won't evaporate because the air is, saturated with water. It's a surprisingly comfortable heat. So sort of, I don't mind this. Later on, when I moved here permanently for a completely different company, once again started out in California, not a problem. Then they transferred me to Texas. That was uncomfortable, but we had a swimming pool in the backyard, so that wasn't too bad. Plus there's air conditioning here. You guys really need to figure out how to install air conditioning in houses and it not to be illegal. Yeah, I went to Texas. That was uncomfortable because it's close to the or we were. I mean, Texas is huge, but we were close to the Arkansas, Louisiana area. So you got swamp, and swamp hot is just, again, horrible. Now I'm in Michigan, which is kind of like England, but with a little bit more snow and tornadoes. Yeah, I mean, in a desert, all you have to worry about is carrying water around with you to rehydrate yourself, because you're getting dehydrated quicker. But yeah, it's not like swamp heat or England heat, where excessive temperatures are just totally uncomfortable. Plus, you got no air conditioning. I think I heard in France over a 3-day period, 1,400 people died from heat-related issues or drowning because they were going swimming in rivers and quarries. Swimming in quarries is not a good idea. PSA, do not swim in quarries. Yeah. I mean, the problem is, in Michigan, it's quite comfortable. It's, what does it say at the moment? It's 70 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is quite acceptable. It was 86, 88 last week. I think we peaked into the 90s, which is uncomfortable. But we also had the crazy weather and tornadoes and 70-mile-an-hour winds and all the rest of it. So it's not all brilliant. Actually, pretty sure there was a bale over here. But you will always have to give up on something. So here it's quite comfortable during the summer. It can get frigid cold in the winter. Yeah. Although personally I find temperatures down to 20 degrees, which I think is still around -15 in English money, are not actually that uncomfortable for me. But there are people here who's like, oh, we need to move to Florida for the winter because it's just too cold. Oh. Oh, so kind of like you'll be able to model what old Tom Pemberton does, where he's got his dry cows and his cows out with the bull and pregnant cows, and then okay, that's all done. Now we can milk them again. That's cool. Because I know there was someone who was doing an advanced animal mod, and I haven't kept up with it, but did I hear that he'd basically been done bad by giants, so he quit doing mods for them, which is unfortunate. It's and that's kind of the bottom line. I can't remember who did. Not DJ Goham, his friend. Oh, I can't remember what his name is. American. No, not Farmer Cop. It's. Oh, I can't remember, but he's been farming for longer than Farmer Cop has. But anyway, he came up with there's a new farm simulator type game coming out, but it's like everything, they haven't got the licensing. So Clutch, yes. Yes, him. He was talking about a new game that's being developed, I believe, by a bunch of people who used to do mods for Farming Simulator, and they decided they could do their own farming thing. And the problem is they can't get equipment licenses. So he's kind of suggested, it's going to be like Farming Simulator 13 or whatever the first one was, where everything was lizard. So you had red lizards, green lizards, blue lizards, yellow lizards, whatever. But everything was lizard because they had no licensing support. So he was querying sort of how much of a competition would be this new game be to Farming Simulator. And I think the issue is Farming Simulator's been going for a long time. Giants have added a lot of functionality to it over that time, and they have all the licenses, so you can drive around in John Deere. And we didn't get John Deere till Farm Sim 19. That was the big thing, I think. Farm Sim 19 was when Class was added at the Farm Con. We're getting equipment that actually has names, and then we have Lizard for the stuff that they just can't get licensing for. So like Ford cars and GM cars, they're not getting licensing for, so they're kind of limited to having a Lizard truck and a Lizard car instead of a Skoda. That type of thing. But really what it boils down to is what makes Giants better than the rest is their mod support. And yes, they might screw over modders every so often, which is unfortunate because the modders are the people who create more interest in the game. And so if this new game comes out and they give us a good support for modders, and we have the volume and what's the word for it? The volume of mods and the quality of mods that we get for Farming Simulator, the game will work very well, I believe. Those are the things that people like exploring. So, like you said, all of the animal feed and realism type thing. I commented on Realismus' seasons this morning about something that they had that Giants didn't include. When I started today, the ground was covered in snow. The temperature was 31 degrees. And if I remember rightly, Realismus had an air temp and a ground temp. So if the air temp was over freezing, you could go out there and spray crop or mulch the crop, but you couldn't cultivate the ground because the ground was frozen. So you'd break tines in your cultivator. So it was basically you can't cultivate because the ground temperature is too low. not because the air temperature's too low, and things like that. And Giants hasn't included that. We just have generic, it's 45 degrees on this farm. And it was 31 this morning, so the ground's melted, and now it's 45 degrees. We'll assume the ground has defrosted, and we're able to plant our cotton now. But yeah, some of the realism stuff is really good. Some of the cheaty stuff's really good as well. Although for this farm I haven't really used a lot of it, like auto-load trailers for bales. But we are using bale lifters because it's a darn sight easier than having front loaders on fields to load your bales up with. How much was that? Can't see. Oh, 105? 103. 103, yes. So, yeah, and it's stuff like that that makes things better. I noticed someone put out a mod a couple of months ago that emulated what Realismus had with grass production. So you had to ted it a few times, or use a mower with conditioning. The thing I like about Giants adding what was previously a mod to the game is it's in the game from day one. There are mods that I like to make use of. So back in Farm Sim, Seasons was a Farm Sim 17 ad as a mod competition, if I'm not mistaken. And so I played with Seasons way back when it first came out and said, this is awesome. And every farm from that point, I played with Seasons automatically. Precision farming was a Giants thing that came out. I played with that automatically. And there's a couple of other mods that I sort of, yes, this is a good mod. I enjoy playing with it. And then the next version of Farm Sim comes out. There are no mods. And it's like, I'm going to have to wait until March, April before I switch my Saturday stream to the new version of Farming Simulator, because Seasons isn't available, there's no maps available, and I need something that I'm going to be able to do long term, and with the environment that I like playing with, so with Seasons, etc., etc. So the great thing about when Giants added Seasons into base game was that's one mod I don't have to wait till March for. And if it doesn't come out in March, it's like, ooh, when do I switch? So I do like that Giants is adding this mod, this former mod functionality, because it allows me to get into the new version of the game quicker. Now, in some cases they do better, in other cases they don't do quite so well. And as everybody described, I have to press that one. As everyone described, Seasons was Seasons Light when Giants implemented. But another way to look at is it's Seasons sufficient. It's got enough of the Seasons functionality to make the game more realistic. You can turn it off if you want, and it's just an added realism thing. I've used other mods in the past which I'm sad aren't included anymore, and it may be because Giants changed how things works. what did they have? They had a Farming Simulator 17 and 19 had a seed mod, and